Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. As always, we are back together with you today with the top 4 most interesting interviews of the media day. We are going to listen by one by, and I will try to give my honest opinions on those interviews that we had list on today. Let's listen to them.
Charles, great effort last weekend. How much confidence can you take from that, even though it's a bit of an outlier of a track on the calendar, of course? And what about your chances here in Spain this weekend?
Not a lot. It was good, and on a difficult season like this, you want to take as much positivity whenever it's possible. And Monaco was definitely a positive weekend for us, but you also need to be realistic and set the right expectations going forward. And unfortunately for here, the picture is most likely going to be very different. So, there's not much we can take from Monaco here. But it's been a good weekend, good points, and that will for sure help us. And it's a very interesting weekend as well. Here in Barcelona, with the change of regulation, we hope that we can close a little bit the gap to the guys in front.
Thanks, Charles.
Hi, Charles. I know going into Monaco, though, I guess you and the team wouldn't have been expecting that kind of performance that you managed to pull out of the bag there. So does the team understand what this car needs? Do you think you've got a direction to go in, or is it a surprise every weekend?
No, I think we understand, and we understand more after Monaco. Monaco is a very bumpy track, and I think our car is pretty good on bumps. Unfortunately, that only applies in Monaco, and it's a very specific thing to Monaco, and I think we were better off than what we thought on bumps. But you can never really know until you are in Monaco. So that was definitely a surprise, at least for me. I did not expect to have such a good weekend in Monaco. For the rest of the tracks, we've had pretty good predictions of where we will stand, and that means that I think we understand this car pretty well. There's still a lot to understand, and you always push to try and understand things you didn't already. But let's say that from now on, it will most likely be as expected, which means pretty difficult.
Yeah, as Leclerc said, everyone was surprised, and everyone, I believe that every single Ferrari fan wasn't ready for that performance at the Monaco Grand Prix that they had the Ferrari. And also I was, let's say, shocked about their performance, but as Leclerc said, just Ferrari is very well at the bumpy tracks, but here at Barcelona we don't have a lot of bumps, but like with the regulation change of the front wing, we will have the flexi wings. It will be maybe benefit for the Ferrari side, or they will have bigger problems, but we will see what will happen actually tomorrow after the practice 1 and practice 2. It will be, let's say, interesting to follow them, what it is going to happen with that flexi wing on the let's say top 4 teams. And if we came the second part, the second question about Charles Leclerc, like he said that they understood what's the problem with the car. The first thing was with the bumps, but I don't believe that they fully understood what's the problem of the Ferrari car. Yeah, we understood, like in a Monaco, in bumpy tracks, maybe they will be good at Austin, and also there is a track very bumpy, but they must find a solution for the other problems of the Ferrari with their car and with their aerodynamic. It's I think it's a pretty bad Ferrari's aerodynamic, and because of that they are struggling a lot and they can't find the pace. And also they have a problem with the heating the tires to get the proper degree to work it perfectly on a track. But we will see. As I said, it will be very interesting with the new regulations of the flexi wings on the front of the car. What will happen to the Ferrari and also the other teams. Then let's listen to Oscar Piastri to see what is going to tell about. I believe that they will have a question like for the flexi wings and other stuff.
Oscar, top of the standings, a third of the way into the season. How do you reflect on everything so far this year, and what about the challenge that lies ahead, starting here in Spain?
I mean, it's been a great first third of the year. It's pretty hard to complain with the start we've had. So I think obviously the results have been good. Where I am in the championship's obviously great, but I think in general it's been just a very satisfying start to the year. I think we've had a lot of very strong weekends, a couple of blips here and there, of course, but I think it's impossible to go 8 weekends without a couple of things you can improve on. So very happy with how things have been going, and hopefully we can keep it that way.
Sure. Thanks, Oscar.
Thanks.
Could you classify Monaco almost as a bit of a blip? Because it just looked like getting on top of that car for you in qualifying was just proving that tiny bit too much, a bit too hard.
Yeah, I think it was a bit more of a struggle than most weekends. I think probably the most challenging of the year so far. But I think we've already understood why to a pretty good extent. So I'm, like I've said before, you're going to have tough moments in a championship. Not every day is going to be perfect, but as long as you can learn the lessons, then that's what counts. And especially at this part of the year, you want to obviously be strong at the back end of the year when the pressure really ramps up. So a slightly more tricky weekend. I think we got on top of things eventually, but it's not a track where you can just find that big step once things are good. You kind of need to gradually build, and that was just what I was missing a bit.
Hi, you don't hit me like the concerned type, but are there any concerns about the new regulation and what it can change for you?
No,
No.
I don't have
Nothing?
any concerns. No.
But do you think it will change anything?
Maybe a little bit, yes. It'd be interesting to see how it affects each team. I think it will affect every team to some extent, but I don't expect it to change the world, but maybe it'll change some teams' competitiveness.
Yeah, I will start with the third question. They are not concerned because, as you know, they are experts for the flexi wings. If you remember what happened last year at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and the other Grand Prix that they had flexi mini DRS things at the McLaren, and I believe that they will bring here very good, very perfect working flexi front wing. That's my opinion about the McLaren. If you came to the first question, I think they have most dominant car for this season. When they lost the races, they lost it with their mistakes, with the drivers' mistakes, and I think still they have the most dominant car. But if you came to the second question, Oscar Piastri specifically was struggling much more at the Monaco Grand Prix, but the Norris's car was perfectly working on the McLaren that we have used to watch on this season. And as I said, they have the most dominant car, and I believe that they will have the perfect flexi wing for this season, and of course will affect that regulation change also to the McLaren, but I think that will affect McLaren in a good way, and I think that their front end will be better and better than the other teams. But as I say always, we will never know what will happen at the Formula One, and we need to just wait and to see, at least at the first practice and the second practice, what will happen to the teams. I think we will have the much more better data and the other stuff. And let's listen to Max Verstappen.
Bit of a tricky weekend for the team last time out in Monaco, but what about your chances here? Bit of a more conventional track, and you've won here for the last 3 years, of course.
Yeah, Monaco is in the past. I don't think we need to talk about that too much. But hopefully we can be a bit more competitive here. Hopefully, well, from my side, I hope at least that it will be a bit more similar to Imola, but it's a bit difficult to tell. I know, of course, the competition that we have, from the other teams. I know what they're strong at. And from us, I think we just have to see if we can balance the car or try and put it again in a nice window, so we are not hard on the tires. And it becomes drivable where then, you feel comfortable and you can push a bit more to the limit. and I think that's what we'll try to achieve.
We've got this new directive this weekend. I just wanted to ask you whether you or the team feel that your success this season might depend on whether or not this negatively impacts McLaren, for example.
No, I think more has to happen from our our side to have proper success, I would say. I think all the teams will be a little bit impacted, some probably a bit more than others, but it's not gonna change the world.
And yours, will you be impacted? Your car?
Honestly, with the balance that we have, probably not so much.
Lewis.
Yeah, as Max Verstappen said, like there is nothing to talk about for the Monaco Grand Prix for the Red Bull, because as you know they had a problem. They rescheduled until the last lap, let's say before the last lap, to wait some red flag and the other stuff to make that miracle to happen and to win that Monaco Grand Prix. But it was a thing like an impossible. If you have watched that race and also that interview of Max Verstappen, like just he was saying that we are not racing here, maybe it's better to do at Monaco to make Mario Kart racing. That will be much more fun than the normal Formula 1 race to happen. I think the all fun was at let's say at the Saturday at the qualifying. And if we came to the other question about the same like that flexi wing, it's hard to say anything about that for the Red Bull. They had an improvement a little bit on a car, but they still have the problem at the slow speed corners as a Ferrari. I think best of the best is McLaren's for that kind of trucks, that they have the like slow speed corners, but the things are totally different at the Spanish Grand Prix, and I think it's the best track to have some test or to bring some upgrades to the car. And also because of that, like Formula 1 management, they bring at the regulation change for the front wing to make a little steps for the next year. We will see from tomorrow if that flexi wings how will affect to the Max Verstappen, to the Red Bull team, and also to the other teams. And also we are going to listen lastly Lewis Hamilton, and we will listen what he's going to say about the flexi wings and about what happened actually at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Good to see you, a third of the way into your first season with Ferrari already. I wondered if you could sum up the journey so far, the key takeaways, and also your feelings coming here to Spain and your chances this weekend.
It's been a fun year so far. Looking forward to getting on track here in Barcelona, get back to a normal track.
Bit more of a conventional circuit, of course, compared to Monaco. So what's your feeling there? A good test of where Ferrari sit in the pecking order?
Whether it's what?
A good test of where all the teams sit in the pecking order.
I mean, this track has always been a good track for that. This used to be the track we used to test at most, and got a good combination of corners. So usually here you kind of get a bit of a lay of the land, and how far you are off is kind of really where you're at.
Right, thanks, Lewis.
Hi, Lewis. Can I ask you what the team and what you've been working on since Monaco, and what sort of feeling you've got with the directive coming in, if it's going to help you or hinder others? Expectations?
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea what the directive's going to do. Couldn't guess. So, just been training and trying to get ready for this weekend. Nothing particularly special.
The question is concerning the qualifying. How do you put everything together in one lap to take pole position?
I don't know. I haven't done it in a long time. So, this is the truth. I haven't done it for so long, so I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah, lastly we listened, let's say, Lewis Hamilton, and as I was saying in other drivers, like also Lewis Hamilton doesn't know what to expect from that regulation change. But as I said, also, I'm sorry to say this second time, but as I said, this track is best for the test that we had, for the test periods. and to bring some upgrades. We have a lot of combination of corners and the other stuff. And just to want to announce one more thing that we will try to cover tomorrow also, team principals press conference, and also post qualifying and the post race press conference. And this kind of video we will have one more time tomorrow, the Saturday and the Sunday, the most interesting, or the top 5, let's say, interviews of that day, the most interesting interviews of that day. Just don't forget to like this video, to comment your thoughts, your opinions about the regulation change, and what do you think about the drivers interviews. Just don't forget to comment them, and to subscribe to the channel to not to miss any kind of video on our channel.